Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about this incredible story, a real collision between cutting-edge technology and, well, national security. It's about a company that built what it called the safest AI and what happened when one of the world's most powerful militaries decided to put that claim to the ultimate test.
So to really get this, we need to set the scene. We're dropping you right into the middle of a super high-stakes classified military mission, an operation where the lines between software code and battlefield conflict are blurring in real time. The year is January 2026. The place? Venezuela. What's happening is a classified U.S. Special Ops mission, and the target is former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. I mean, the tension is just off the charts. It's complex, and it's all unfolding by the second. So picture this command center. The people in there are just getting flooded with information. You've got live drone feeds streaming in, intel from people on the ground. It's just chaos. And right in the middle of it all, there's an advanced AI assistant working to make sense of it all and suggesting what to do next. Now, this wasn't just any old AI. This was Claude. And Claude was built by a company called Anthropic, which marketed its creation as the safety-first AI. Yep, you heard that right. The AI built to be the safest one out there, the one you could trust, was designed from the ground up to be aligned with human values. Okay, hold on. A safety-first AI? In the middle of a military operation? That sounds like a total contradiction, doesn't it? So how on earth did an AI that was specifically trained to refuse harmful requests end up right here? To get that, we've got to rewind a bit and see how this all started. So who is Anthropic? Well, they really tried to be the good guys in the whole AI race. The founders actually came from OpenAI, and they wanted to do things differently. Their big thing was constitutionally trained models. Basically, they built their AI on a foundation of principles, from things like the UN Declaration of Human Rights. The whole idea was to make an AI that would just say, nope, can't do that, to dangerous or unethical requests.
And this, right here, this is where the problem starts. It lays out the tension perfectly. On one side, you've got Anthropic and its whole safety-first ethos and human values, and on the other, the Pentagon. Their doctrine is all about national security, mission success, lawful military use. These two ways of looking at the world were on a collision course.
And in 2025, that collision turned into a partnership, a huge one. Anthropic signed a massive multi-year deal with the U.S. Department of Defense. We're talking something in the ballpark of $200 million to provide Claude.
Okay, but the way they framed this was really, really important. The deal was that Claude was supposed to be a human-in-the-loop tool. It wasn't going to be some autonomous Terminator robot. No, it was pitched as a smart assistant, there to help analysts and commanders sort through all that data and make better, more informed decisions. A human was always supposed to make the final call.
But that nice, neat little framework of human-in-the-loop support? Well, it was about to get a serious reality check. Because after that Venezuela operation, the engineers back at Anthropic started hearing about how their baby was actually being used out in the field. And for a lot of them, a huge red line had just been crossed.
And bam, a full-blown crisis just explodes inside the company. The engineers, the safety people, they were alarmed. They felt like Claude was operating way too close to the kill chain, to actual life or death decisions. The debate was intense. Was this a violation of the entire spirit of their company? Some people were even saying, shut it down, suspend the Pentagon projects until we have much stronger safeguards in place.
And here's the kicker. This wasn't just some internal company squabble anymore. This thing became a historic head-on clash. It was the first time a private AI lab's ethical red lines went up against the military objectives of a global superpower. It had never really happened like this before, in public. So, you might be wondering, how did the Pentagon react to this internal crisis? Well, as you can probably imagine, the Department of Defense was not exactly thrilled that its shiny new tech vendor was suddenly developing a conscience in the middle of a critical partnership. The Pentagon's response was, let's just say, crystal clear. From their point of view, once they procure and integrate a technology, it's up to the military, not some vendor in Silicon Valley, to decide how it's used in lawful operations. A company's internal ethics policy does not get to veto national security, period. And this is where things get really interesting. The Pentagon apparently considered labeling Anthropic a supply chain risk. Now, that sounds like boring government speak, right? Wrong. It's a huge threat. It's the government basically saying, if you're going to be an unreliable partner, we will cut you off and find a competitor who will play ball.
This whole showdown between one company and one government agency, it actually shines a spotlight on a much, much bigger and honestly, a much more frightening global problem.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter. The 2026 International AI Safety Report basically warned of this exact scenario. We're plugging these incredibly powerful AI models into military systems way faster than we can write the rules for them. Right now, deployments are pretty much relying on voluntary promises from these companies because there are literally no binding international treaties for AI in war.
And think about all those big global AI summits you hear about. For all the talk, they've been consistently criticized for completely failing to put any real, meaningful limits on the military uses of AI. It's like the one topic everyone is just too scared to actually regulate.
So, where does all of this leave us? Well, it leaves us with some really big and frankly pretty profound and uncomfortable questions about the future we're all building together. At the end of the day, who gets to decide? Who has the final say on what's an acceptable use of this tech? Should it be the lab that built it with safety in mind? The military that deploys it to protect national interests? Or do we just wait for some kind of international law that might not ever even show up?
What this whole incident proves is that this isn't some academic debate anymore. It's not a hypothetical for a philosophy class. It is a reality, happening right now. The people building these tools and the people using them have fundamentally different ideas about where that red line should be drawn.
And that brings us to the final, kind of chilling question. The clash over Claude was the first Pentagon test of its kind, but it for sure won't be the last. As more AI labs partner with governments, the question really isn't if this is going to happen again. The question is, who wins next time?